Hey everyone, welcome back to Snackable Growth. Today I'm going to talk about how you can unlock more of your potential by shifting from a performance mindset to a learning mindset. Let's get started. We're going to hit on three main topics. First, the distinction between the learning and the performance mindset. Second, why you should start prioritizing learning. And finally, 3 easy ways that you can actually do that. So first, let's talk about performance versus learning. Performance is a display of comprehension. It's measurable in a given instant, but it may not be sustained comprehension, or more importantly, adaptable comprehension over the long term. Conversely, learning is lasting change in comprehension or behavior. It's really about deep conceptual understanding and retention over the long run, but it's often trickier to measure upfront. Now, you may be sitting there making an understandable assumption. Doesn't performance always reflect learning? Aren't these two always directly correlated? Surprisingly, no. A ton of research has actually shown that performance is a shockingly bad indicator of learning. In fact, learning and performance have often shown to be inversely correlated in students. This is wild, because as a society, we always measure performance, with test taking in schools being the most obvious example. And as a result, we have conditioned ourselves to always operate in performance mindsets, and that's dangerous. So let's talk about why performance mindset is bad and why you instead want the learning mindset. Let's do it through an example. Think about any time you've tried to use a complicated software. It could be Excel, or it could be Adobe Photoshop. If you were in the performance mindset, you probably only taught yourself the specific tools or functions that you needed to get your job or task done. But if you're like me and you were asked to use these tools for a different job or purpose today, you'd have to teach yourself a ton of new stuff, because you didn't actually learn the software holistically. We just taught ourselves what we needed to perform in that specific window of time. When our jobs or tasks reward these type of short-term deliverables, they also discourage the flexibility, the experimentation, and the mistakes of a learning mindset. And in short, performance mindset narrows your learning. It often produces a hacky skill set that's only useful in a limited context, while learning can handle complex situations with different assumptions. Now, with that example in mind, ask yourself, how often are you in the performance mindset? For me, it's a lot. So then, how do we retrain ourselves to turn on our learning mode and actually have sustained performance over the long run? Here are my 3 tips. First, don't under-experiment because you're trying to avoid mistakes. I tend to think about this like learning a language. When traveling, we're often really hesitant to speak the local language because we don't want to mess up. But this doesn't really make sense for long-term success. Mistakes are actually how you understand the nuances of a subject. So creating more space to mess up will put you in the learning mindset. There's a famous quote by Thomas Edison that speaks to this point. I have not failed, but found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. The second way to put yourself in learning mode is to always have something that you are strictly trying to learn. If you could wave a magic wand right now, what would you want to know and be able to do well? At a minimum, we should all readily have an answer to that question. And if you don't, then you should definitely pick up a creative pursuit or project to put you in learning mode. Make sure it's something that you don't need to perform in for your livelihood, and make sure you proactively block time for it. My third and final tip is to read. Read all the time and read diverse subject matter. If you don't have a specific thing that you want to learn, reading is the most effortless way to turn on learning mode, because writers have already done all the hard work for you. You'll be teaching yourself to just absorb information without trying to tightly scope it, and you'll open yourself up to a lot of conceptual discovery. To summarize, we need to remind ourselves that learning mode exists and that life is not perpetual performance. The output of learning can actually be more valuable over the long term. So we just need to spend more time in the learning mindset. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you're trying to learn. I'll see you next time on Snackable Growth.